Okay, Graham. Tyson, come on. You can't possibly be rooting for Jake Paul. Unless you're 20 years old. And Hunt, good morning. Sorry I know I'm late. I put the late message out in my Instagram. I had to drive Marissa, my wife, to work. She had some car issues going on. Hopefully nothing too serious. Traffic was atrocious in Boca. Worst possible time to be driving. I do think that it is going to be a real fight. Given the guidelines of the 2-minute rounds and the 14-ounce gloves, which will have a bit of an impact as far as getting fatigued a little bit faster, and obviously there's a little bit more cushion there. But I do think that Tyson is going to take the fight seriously, and I know Jake Paul is going to take the fight seriously. So I'm pretty interested to see how this goes. This is definitely going to be the best Jake Paul fight. That's for sure. I didn't really have any interest in watching his last couple fights. Seen him fight a few times. I've seen enough at this point. But this one, no way I'd pass up on Mike Tyson fighting. No way. Also, they did a phenomenal job. If you guys, the three people that are in here, if you guys haven't watched the little docu-series they did on Netflix, there's 3 episodes, power watch it today. Very, very good. Very, very good. They did a great job with this docu-series. Man, Mike got in phenomenal shape. If you look at how fat he was 6 months ago, I forgot that he was fat like that. Boy, did he get in good shape. He got in good shape. Happy days. You had no adrenal care. It's sold out most places. There is adrenal care. I'm sure Blackstone Labs has adrenal care. That's got to be a mistake. Go check it out over there. Don't try to set me up with those "you must be working for Blackstone" questions. I do not work for Blackstone Labs. I'm not allowed to. The government won't allow it. Let's get that disclaimer out of the way here, YouTube. As per the condition of my probation, I have to wait until I'm done with probation and go back to my own company. However, I've seen all the stuff online for adrenal care. They have to have it. They must have it. And Hunt says, all it takes is one big hit to unlock Psycho Mike. That's right. He doesn't like to play. He does not like to play. Oh, there's a guy walking around with a little baby right there. We're flying to New Jersey tonight while the fight is happening, so a text update would be appreciated. Absolutely. I will do that. I will absolutely do that. I promise you. The least I can do for the Graham family. The Graham dynamic duo. What else we got going on here? Yeah, so I'm shocked by the amount of time it took me to drive Marissa to work today. I was debating letting her take my car because I knew it was going to be annoying. I was like, maybe I should have her take my car. However, I had shit to do, as my buddy in prison used to say. So I decided to take her. Oh my Lord. Accidents, traffic, people angry. People are so angry, by the way. Why are people so angry? I've noticed, I guess because of the economy and maybe Biden and everything that this country has been through, people are angry. We were sitting in traffic, right? And there was this crazy bottleneck. Nobody was going anywhere regardless. People were stuck. And so I motioned for 2 of the people to merge in because I would appreciate it if people let me merge in if I was jammed up in a spot like that, right? And so this lady started freaking out that I let them merge in. So then naturally, I just let an obscene amount of people merge in. I was just like, merge, 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 merge. We weren't going anywhere regardless. And the lady was so mad. But I was like, we're going 2 miles per hour. Who cares? So it's just so interesting to see how angry people were beeping at each other all over the place. You know, and it carries over. I see a lot of hate on social media on the subject of we're talking about Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, right? Why is there so much hate on this fight? Why can't people just appreciate that there's going to be this fight on Netflix tonight? I mean, perhaps that's a rhetorical question. I suppose I already know the answers to this, but this is what I've been reading. Mike Tyson's old. The fight is fake. The rounds are short. That's BS. 14-ounce gloves is BS. Blah, 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 blah. Jake Paul's terrible. You know, it's all scripted. Man, there's so much hate. Same thing with the Jones fight tomorrow night. I'm so excited. I'm over here super excited to watch Mike Tyson fight. And I'm so excited to watch Jon Jones, my favorite UFC fighter of all time, fight against Stipe tomorrow night. And Stipe's so old. Nobody wants to see Stipe fight. Jon Jones sucks. Jon Jones is ducking Aspinall. He must have dirt on the UFC. I'm like, why are people so angry, man? New World Muscle. You know, here, you know, how do I want to get this out in the shortest amount of time? Because I know that I am long-winded. My personal opinion, I'm going to offer it for free, like I do every day. For Jake Paul, the best thing for him would be to not have it scripted and go in there, try hard, right? Try his hardest. And if he gets knocked out, everyone will be like, wow, he really fought this time. The people who love him, right, are going to be like, man, that guy's got balls. He took a power shot from Mike Tyson. You know what I mean? And the haters are still going to hate him anyway. You know what I mean? So to me, that's the best thing that could happen. Now, it's a matter of what will the ego, I don't know the man, so I can't speak on him. Will the ego allow it? Will the ego allow it? Or does the ego intervene and say, hey, you know, we're not going to do any knockouts, da-da-da, you're going to have, you know, tough to say. To be fair, Jones is not a good person at all, so I understand that. And Hunt, do you know him on a personal level? I'm curious. I always wonder about that kind of stuff. I understand people say, okay, you know, he abused his wife, he did this, he did that, but unless you know him on a personal level, how could you really say that? Because if you read the things that are said about me online, I sound terrible. I sound like I was poisoning people with hidden drugs and dietary supplements. People that just thought they were getting a good muscle builder were getting poisoned by these scumbags that just wanted to make money and drive around in fancy cars. I mean, shit, if you read about what it says about me, I mean, it makes me look real bad. But most people that have spent time with me think I'm a nice guy. Transformix Red, what's up, my brother? Good to see you. Good to see you. Here on YouTube, we'll see how long we stay on. I stayed on an hour yesterday. We had a lot of good questions coming in. I was very appreciative of that. PJ forced me to take creatine. I said, take that creatine. Serious question, PJ. Having had the big house, cars, and the money, do you plan on trying to get all of that back? Or are you happier now than you were before and no longer care for those things? Much love from Big Rudolph. What up, Big Rudolph? So, the house that I bought was my dream house. I loved that house so much. So, from a house standpoint, it would take a lot for me to, like, since then, I haven't really been in a house that I've loved like that. So, financially, where I'm at now, we're pretty much capped out on what we should be spending for rent. So my goal is to, go through this probation, find out other streams of revenue to put away so that I can buy a house again. I don't want to rent, I would like to buy a house. However, it's obviously a terrible time to be doing any of this down here. So the house that I do buy, I don't care about where it is anymore. I want it to be in East Boca. I don't care about any of that anymore. I'd like to get the best deal for my money. I would like to have a pool, and I wouldn't mind having a yard. And, there's that. Now, I had at one point 4 cars, right? Well, I had a lot of different cars, but I had a rotation of 4 cars. And there is one car that I miss very much, the Ferrari F12. And I will have that car back. I was able to save that through all this madness. But from a standpoint of money, right? The money happened to come just because of all the things that I was building. So once I got in the position that I got into with this FDA case, I took the same salary for, 7 years or something like that. So the first few years, I made a crazy amount of money. And I bought a lot of shit. I bought the house, I bought all those cars, whatever. I don't want to speak as you all would feel this way, but for me, now that I've driven all these different cars, none of them will fulfill me the way that the F12 did. So, I'm much happier now than I was back then because I was searching for happiness in the wrong places. The love that I have from my wife really trumps everything else. I'm excited to be a dad. But I'm definitely not, you won't see me buying watches and fancy, Jordans and all the things that people go crazy for. I mean, I really wasn't, the watch thing was quick for me anyway. And then to be honest with you guys, I found a guy that did the knockoffs fucking perfect down here. I sent everybody to that guy. He loved me. I even fooled Singerman with how good they were, and Singerman had all the real ones. So, Pierce Brosnan, good morning. Are you getting a cut from Blackstone Lab sales put on the side? Nope. I don't want any problems, man. I don't want any problems whatsoever. I don't even want to be anywhere near any of that. They're so strict with me. They told me I couldn't even go to the building, which is crazy. Because we have family that work there. So I just have to listen. The guys that are there on payroll, they know that they get more than a modest salary, and that when I come back, we'll blow it all up again. So in the meantime, the goal with the company is paying back Jared. Jared saved me and the company by paying the fines, and there's a big debt to him. So I told those guys, look, when I got out of prison, I couldn't believe where the debt was. And, this is full transparency, guys. I left prison thinking to myself, right, I left for prison thinking, okay, you don't got to pay my salary anymore. You don't got to pay the legal fees anymore. Just pay Jared back first. Wipe that all out. Right? Man, the leadership was so bad. While I was gone, I came home, and the debt was actually higher than when I left. So, got these guys all organized on my furlough before I had these annoying rules put on me, and got them into a proper payment plan, and they are aggressively paying that debt down. That's all I care about, because to me, man, for all Jared did for me, I will feel very, very proud when that debt is paid off. Like, that's the freaking least I could do. The least I could do. So that's all I care about. That's all I care about. I don't care about taking $1 from anybody, because if he didn't pay that debt, the company would be gone. He saved the company. Literally. He saved, not that many people would do that. So I told those guys, get that debt down. Let's see here. Sparky says, good shit, brother. You did it once and you can do it again. Thank you, Sparky. I appreciate it. Do you want to have all the money again in the future, mate? Listen, guys, I wasn't rich. I made a lot of money in a short amount of time, but when I had my coaching business, guys, right? When I was coaching, I was making 3-year period. It averaged out between $150,000 and $200,000, which is pretty damn good. But man, let me tell you, I was exhausted. I had so many clients, between clients in the gym, training people, sitting on the computer all day. With the amount of clients that I had, that once Blackstone took off and we started making what I was making in a year, in a month, I was like, okay, well, this is where it's at. But before I got to that point, Singerman used to say this all the time, I never spent a penny. Because for me, it wasn't about being rich. A lot of guys, they want to get rich. Like if you look at these Wes Watson guys, the ballers, they're all about balling and getting rich. I was all about accomplishing my goals, my business goals, my personal goals. Money comes with that. So for me, if I wasn't accomplishing my goals, I could make $50 million and not feel satisfied, regardless of how much freaking money that is, because for me, it's about personal achievements that I want. So I have different goals right now based around what I can, and there's a timestamp on them. That's what a SMART goal is. So I have all these little SMART goals that I focus on now. Once they take the reins off me with probation, I'm going all out back with Blackstone Labs again, and probably other things too. It is the character of a man that counts. Your family is an important thing. That is right, sir. Will you name your son Janoy Crespa Braun? No. I don't want him to have a life of ridicule. Big Rudolph says, thanks for response. Hey, you're welcome. I'm happy to answer any questions. I appreciate the questions, Rudolph. Through adversity, you really learn a lot about yourself. Happy day, Friday. What up today? Plans for the weekend? What up, George? Yeah, I'm watching Mike Tyson tonight. I'm watching Jon Jones tomorrow. Did you do much reading while in prison, PJ, if any? I read literally over 200 books. Stop counting after that. My favorite, if I were just to call out one book that was my favorite, Atlas Shrugged was probably my #1 favorite. I loved the Red Rising series. The Red Rising series was phenomenal, man. I really hope they do a series or a movie. I mean, the Red Rising books would literally be, if they could do it the right way, better than Game of Thrones. That's how good those books are. And then I read a bunch of science books, psychology books. I read a few different Carl Jung books. He's very hard to understand. Man and His Symbols was written for the everyday person to be able to understand. I would only recommend that one, really. Am I going to get back on a cycle again? Well, I'm on testosterone, so I'll be on testosterone for the rest of my life. Those 2 years in prison without it were terrible. Old Man Winter, what's going on? The Atlanta Freak says, PJ, how did you get through the toughest moments in prison where you just wanted to give up? I've never wanted to give up on anything in my life. Thankfully, I think that's just something that's within me. I don't know if it was passed down, from my biological father or what, but there's no quit in me. So even when it was terrible in there, I kept reminding myself, this is temporary. Many of you have heard this one before. It comes from the Bible. This too shall pass. That's what I told myself. This too shall pass. And I did a lot of praying. When I was in prison. Do I miss Jason Genova? No. He still texts me all the time. Sparky says, I was locked up here in Vegas, did 3 months, and the growth you get from getting out is crazy. A lot of people just fall back in the same old rut. I agree, man. I've talked to some of the other guys that were locked up that got out before me even, and they were like, they're still the same. They're like, man, I haven't lost the gratitude. I haven't lost all this. So, rebranding Blackstone to Whitestone Labs. New beginning, baby. I did not read any Nishki in there, no. I still wasn't alerted by YouTube that you were live, even though I pressed the bell notification. Interesting. I guess I'll have to look into that. Thank you for telling me that, Mass Peanut. Christ is King. You are correct, sir. What is the best tip that you can give for growing legs? So, I think that many people try to train legs too heavy, and they focus on moving the weight rather than focusing on the muscle being stimulated the right way. I used to like to squat heavy sets of 5, even 6 reps, all the way down to that. So I loved squatting that heavy weight. I felt like a beast putting that weight on my back. But it wasn't until I kind of got away from that and got into higher rep sets, deeper rep sets, 20 rep sets, 30 rep sets on the leg press, where the burn is so bad, and it really comes into a mental thing of, do I want to give up because this burn is bad, or can I keep fighting through it? That's what really makes your legs grow. That is what will really make your legs grow. Look at Tom Platz, the way that he trained. Because I'll tell you guys, when you lift really heavy, you get to a point where if you keep making it heavier, you just can't do it. It's just too heavy, you can't do it. And that's not how you grow. You put on a weight, let's say you're squatting 400 pounds, you can do it 10 times, you're fighting to get 11. You throw on another plate, right? You do a really, really hard 3 or 4. You do another plate, what happens? You go down, you can't come back up. That's not how you grow. That's not how you grow. But let's say you go down to 315 and you're just pushing. You get 15 reps. You're breathing hard. Your legs are burning, but you can still go back down and come back up again. Getting into those types of sets, that's what makes your legs grow. Also, I really benefited quite a bit from pre-exhausting my hamstrings before all my quad exercises. Very interesting how well this worked out for me. So I would start with either a seated hamstring curl or a lying hamstring curl, 5 or 6 sets, progressive overload. And then I'd go into all my leg presses and all that, and I'll tell you, my legs responded so well to that. I'm very sad about the passing of Big Lenny. That was a shocker to me. Obviously, if you just judge a book by its cover, he didn't look healthy, but I was very sad, especially because I'd gotten such a nice message from him when I got out of prison. Oh, thank you, Sparky. Thank you very much, Sparky. It's YouTube being numb and not sending out notifications. I'm wondering if does everybody else here get the notifications? Interesting. What was my favorite exercises for delts? So, the dumbbell shoulder press. I love the dumbbell shoulder press. Love. I'm experimenting with some completely new exercises now, but back when I was young, when my shoulders actually looked really good, I used to love dumbbell shoulder presses, dumbbell lateral raises, Reverse pec deck I've always thought was an ideal exercise for posterior delts. I used to mess around, not too heavy, but very, very strict with behind the neck presses on the Smith machine. I used to really like also. You got to be careful with those though. Mass peanut, I've done it all over the 30 years or so that I've been training. I like to do one just all out leg day, but I did hamstrings first in that leg day so they would get continuous stimulation through the rest of the workout. I found that if I tried to do hamstrings after all the quad stuff, I just couldn't hit them hard. They'd start cramping, I just wouldn't have the energy to put it into it. But if I did them first, I really responded to it. And when I was training for shows, what I would do was a second day where I just did hamstring and calf exercises and no quads. So it was one all-out quad day, and then I had another touch-up day for hams. But I think if you go all out, a lot of volume, hit it all hard, let them rest for a week, I believe that is the ideal way to do it. What's your favorite exercise for rear delts? I really like the reverse pec deck. There's some specialty exercises that I could show you, but done correctly, the reverse pec deck is ideal. The problem is most people put on too much weight and cheat with it. Were you happier at the peak of your financial wealth or now? Way happier now, for sure. I've never been this happy. I was doing some really crazy fun stuff at the peak of my financial wealth, but there was a lot of downtimes that were not good in between that. I was in a very, very unhealthy marriage. There's a lot of stuff back then that was no bueno. What are your thoughts about all these kids hopping on gear and having, man, it's so weird to me. I came out to this madness of teenagers juiced up, zits all over the place, bloated looking messes. And I don't know, it's just weird. It's weird to me. It's weird. You didn't get that notification either? Okay, thank you guys for telling me about that. Yes, I remember when Jason ordered 66 at me. That caused a lot of issues. That was a headache. Trent, Barbarian Brothers were on another level, man. Those guys were beasts. Did I ever use insulin? Yes, I was able to use insulin to put on size very efficiently the last few years of my career. I don't like Humulin R. When I was working with Palumbo, he was a Humulin R guy. Had a lot of bad side effects with the Humulin R. So it was actually his fiance at the time, Colette Nelson, who is a diabetic and also does diabetes education. Brilliant. Colette's a brilliant woman. She got me to try Novolog, very fast acting. And I utilized Novolog on and off for a few years very efficiently. Anytime I was hitting a plateau where I wasn't, able to grow, I would bust through it with insulin. But you have to be very smart and meticulous when you're doing the insulin. Calves and forearms are good to train daily. You know what, man? I haven't trained my calves other than in prison. I trained my calves, but after that, I didn't train. Before that, I didn't train them for years, and same thing, forearms. My forearms have always been really big. If anything, my forearms kind of take away from my upper arm how big my forearms are, but they do respond to more stimulation. Pierce Bronson asking about Trevor. Yeah, he is. Trevor actually runs the social media at Blackstone Labs. Old Man Winter, good morning. Good morning. Yeah, I ended up getting out after 22 months. Trevor is the Andrew of Blackstone Labs. Yes, absolutely. Quite a bit. He does customer service. He runs all the social media pages. That's it, Pierce Brosnan. In prison, that's how we did it too. We did calf races on the stairs just to get them going, something else to do. And listen, in prison, you're going to train everything. You got the time for it. I'm tired today, guys. Very loyal from Shred. He's very kind. He's a very, very, very kind soul. Wouldn't hurt to fly. There's literally no one that he doesn't like. Very kind soul. Good guy, very loyal. When I got out of prison, he actually came, he wanted to help out. And my dad was like, Trevor, asked about you a lot while you were gone. He was a good guy. Mark Dog says, hey, PJ, got to your house in Boca. What gym are you training at now? I have my own gym that I train at now. I have a Blackstone gym, but can you guesstimate what you think your macros in prison were on a daily basis? Well, I can tell you that my goal was to get 100 grams of protein every day, right? Anything after that was a bonus. I ate 1 pack of tuna every day, 31 grams of protein. I had 1 pack of shredded beef every day. That's 40 grams of protein, so we're at 70 right there. And I had a health shake that was 24 grams of protein, right? So at that point right there, I'm almost around 100. And I would have some peanut butter in there as well, which I don't really count peanut butter as protein, but we can round it out. Now, depending on what they were serving in mainline, some days I went to mainline and some days I didn't. I rarely went to mainline for lunch on Mondays. It was always bullshit. Tuesdays was chicken patty day, which is probably a 20-gram small little chicken patty. Wednesday's hamburger day. Man, the hamburger patties are so small. They're probably 15 grams of protein. That's how small they are. They're like a White Castle patty, man. Talk to somebody that's been in federal prison about how small those hamburgers are. They're little hockey pucks, at least where I was. Now, Thursday is bird day. You get a chicken leg and a chicken thigh. So you're getting higher protein on those days. And then Friday was fish day. A lot of times I didn't go to fish day because they would give these bullshit, excuse my language, fillet of fish, little breaded things. There was like no fish inside them. A lot of carbs though, Pierce Brosnan, a lot of carbs in prison. Any issues in prison? Did you meet any fans that recognize you and assuming everybody wanted to train with you? So the crazy thing, Old Man Winter, I thought maybe there'd be somebody that knew who I was. I couldn't believe how many people knew who I was in the prison. But the craziest thing about it was, and I hoped this was happen, and God blessed me with this, the lieutenant at my prison knew who I was a bodybuilding fan. A bunch of the other guys, so the guards were really cool to me. Not that I'm disrespectful or whatever, but there was a couple situations that I could have been in a lot worse trouble than I was. And, shout out to those guys that knew I was just trying to do my thing and go home. For instance, I had a guy who smuggled me in resistance bands. Resistance bands, like you see guys pumping up with backstage. And I had those stashed and I used them to work out. Now, you get caught with those, you could get a shot, an incident report, get you in a lot of trouble. Especially in the RDAP program that I was in, that contraband, you get thrown out of the program for that. So it was a major risk for me having those, but I was just, I wanted them so bad to just be able to do more with my training. Because it was just keeping me sane. And they let me get away with having those. In fact, I'd seen them take other guys away from them, trash them, and I was able to keep mine the whole time, and then I blessed them out into the community when I left. How many hours did you spend working out in prison a day? Only an hour, because I didn't have time. See, the camp that I was at, guys, when I first got there and I joined the dog program, where they train service dogs, right? I had more time on my hands. I was working out for a couple hours. But once I got into the RDAP program, which is the program that got me out faster, you have to be programming from 7:45 to 10:45 every day. So I had to be out on the yard by 5:30 to get my workout in, back inside by 7 so I could shower, get my uniform on, have my cube inspection ready, and then go to programming. See, I tried working out after lunch for a little while, but because Alabama gets so hot in the summertime, they would do what is called a black flag warning. They put the black flag out, they let everybody know, black flag warning, you're not allowed to leave the building during black flag. And they wouldn't release it until 6, 7 o'clock at night when the heat has passed. So once that happened a couple times, I was like, screw this, I'm going out in the morning when this doesn't happen. And that's when I got into just training every day at 5:30 in the morning. So after lunch, around noon or so, I would go to work and start my job. And I would do that until 4 o'clock. And then once 4 o'clock comes, you go and eat, and then I was just back in my cube reading. I'd read until I went to bed. Have I ever met Mike Tyson? Yes, I did actually. So, it's a funny story. It was when Mike was really starting to blow up with his little kind of like spoken word thing that he was doing out in Vegas. And I got VIP tickets to it. And I was trying to save my marriage at the time. The girl that I was married to pretty much hated me at this point. And we had been through a rough spell, man. She had just gotten out of rehab, and we were both just kind of broken at that point. But I was like, I'm going to take her to meet Mike Tyson. I took her to the show. It was such a good show. Mike was hilarious. And it was a small, intimate setting, right? So cool. And then with the VIP tickets, you got to go meet him afterwards. So I went over to him and I was like, hey, man, it's so awesome to meet you, man. Huge fan. I'm honestly, I'm doing this right now to try to save my marriage. And he was like, hey, brother, I've been in your shoes, man. I know how it is. I know how it is, man. And I thought that was cool. And we took a picture with him. And that was that. Have I ever met, do I use glutamine supplements? I've gotten lazy with it. When I got out of prison, I was taking a lot of glutamine. I was taking 20 grams post-workout, 10 grams before bed. But I haven't been doing quite as many shakes lately because I got into this bougie protein pudding and protein ice cream thing with my protein, and so I haven't been mixing the glutamine in. Transformix says, I would recommend to add a date to your live titles and maybe 1 or 2 words about a subject discussed in it for when they may come. Okay, so afterwards go in there and do that. Can I go back on the ones that I already did, or is it too late? Did you guys get the greenish color hot dogs or the super thin sliced bologna? That bologna is, listen, the county jail bologna, terrible. It was so bad that when I got to the prison, the days they would have that, I just gave it away. Every now and then when they had the hot dog day, I would eat the hot dogs. They actually weren't bad. They were skinny as hell, but they weren't bad. I didn't meet any piss troopers in prison, no. I did not meet any piss troopers in prison. We're on house arrest. Yeah, no weights, guys. No weights in the prisons. Yes, Transform X, the X is the wrestling girl. Her wrestling name was Caitlin. Celeste Bonin, her actual name. She's married now, so I don't know what her name is. I think she may have kept her name. I hope she's doing well. That was a crazy time in my life. Pierce Brosnan, I'm actually working on it right now. Ever thought about working on a book? I'm currently working on it, and I'm excited about it. I will let you guys know, obviously, when it comes out, but I'm not going to put it out until it's something that I'm very proud of. And I'm not writing like some corny ass PJ Braun autobiography. I'm not really interested in that. Now, I do have a crazy story and a crazy life, and a lot of really bad things have happened to me that never stopped me from being who I am and smiling. So I'm really going to talk about a lot of the messed up things that have happened to me, and really how I feel all of that stuff has molded me to be the best person that I am now. So I'm putting a lot of the darkness into it. And then hopefully somebody reads it and gets motivated, because I want it to be, not saying that women won't read it, but for any man that wants to do something more than just check the box at work and is willing to put work in hard on anything in life, I really want it to be more about the American dream and what can be achieved if you have a relentless work ethic and don't give up. So we'll see how it all comes out. I'm actually in the same spot right now where the woman I was with for 8 years left me for another man. She gives me, hey man, my heart goes out to you. Listen, the woman that I was married to, I thought I'd never love anyone the way that I loved her. And people saw it too. People saw it. They were like, you love her so much. It was almost like an obsession maybe, in a way. And so, when she didn't want to be married to me anymore, it devastated me. I was really captivated with what is wrong with me. What is wrong with me was all I could think of. Why? And I'll tell you, I wish I had the mindset that I have now after everything I've been through with prison back then, because I wouldn't have drank myself into the hospital, but I learned from all these crazy mistakes that I made. And when I met Marissa, I did it right. I had a crazy rebound relationship after my marriage. That was just a crazy one. So then after that, I was like, man, I need to just be sober and be by myself for a while. Met Marissa, and I thought that she was absolutely beautiful. But I knew I wasn't ready to, start talking to anybody yet. And so I decided to just do my thing, slide up in them DMs, see which girls wanted to party real quick. But I kept building my friendship with Marissa. I kept going over into where she was working, talking to her. Then finally, after a few months, I was like, hey, here's my number. Or let me get your number, whatever, And then we started talking, and one day I just realized that, like, man, I gotta hang out with this girl. The first time we hung out, that was it. Never stopped hanging out with her ever again. So there's absolutely hope for you, Sparky. And I'll tell you this. This is something to toss around in your head and do whatever you want to do with it. There are literally billions of people in the world now. I don't know what the number is up to. If it's 9 billion, 10 billion, right? So to think that there's only one soulmate out there, it's just impossible when you break down the mathematics of all this. In fact, there might be 100, 1,000 of them if you got out there enough. So in your devastation, you gotta just keep on getting yourself back out there and give yourself more opportunities, because like what happened with me, where I was like, I'll never get married, I'll never do this, blah, 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 blah. Sure enough, I got back out there and I met a girl that Made me happier than I've ever been in my entire life. Okay. The experts. Everybody's an expert now, Janoy Crespa. That's another thing I've learned. But, you know, first of all, Jake Paul has won the fights that he's won. He has deserved to win. He has deserved to win. The one fight against Jake Fury, he lost, and he deserved to lose that fight. So if he goes in there, listen, if Tyson fights him the way that he fought against Roy Jones, which I think he's going to fight better than he did against Roy Jones, Tyson won that Roy Jones fight. Anybody that was going to score that fight, Tyson won that fight. So I don't see how he really has a chance. So. An edit in the video description. Hold on. Yes, you can go change the titles. Okay. Maybe I'll just put the dates in there and whatnot. Thank you always for all the help. Transformix. Pierce Brosnan. No, it will not be a cookie cutter read. I promise you that. Andreas O'Rourke, you doing another video with Janot? He won't let me. He will not let me. O'Rourke, he's shut it down. Genova will not do any videos with me at all ever again. They are better indexed by YouTube if they have proper descriptions and titles. Okay. All right. Thank you. I'm going to look into that after this. Appreciate it. I'm telling you, Sparky, I was like that for a while, man. My first year, first of all, my divorce took 3 years. That first year after when she left me, man, I was a mess. I was a mess. But I'm telling you, one, do not go to alcohol. It's the worst thing you can do. Two, you're going to have a bunch of people tell you that you need to be alone and this and that. I think that's BS. I think being alone is the worst thing that you can do when you're like that. I think you got to get out there and feel around. Make some mistakes. See what else is out there. You're probably going to compare a lot of girls to her. That's normal. Thank you, Brosnan. Janoy was the test run. PG, did you ever get with the females on Blackstone Labs videos? The hot ones working out. I always felt like PG's living the dream. No. No. All business, man. All business. It was all for the image. Had a lot of fun watching, though. Thoughts on RFK as health secretary? I think he has the potential to do some very good things. I wish he came in 2020. Maybe I wouldn't have went to prison. Fantastic shape for 70 years old. Fantastic shape. Very impressive. Yes, Tommy Fury. That was, sorry, I said Jake. I don't know what I was thinking. Yes, but Tommy Fury fought him and beat him, and they let him win. They didn't say, oh, Jake won. They gave it, you know, a fair scoring. I'll always love Jason, though, Sparky. The Gain Goblin has enslaved Jason to the condo. It says, yes, that's it. He's shut down. Shut down until if his grandma passes away, he may come back. But until then, there's too much money riding on that. There's too much money riding on Granny right now. I told him he should be over there spending all his time with her. You should be sitting next to Granny in the old folks' home, knitting with her, doing whatever you got to do, Genova. PJ's a G. Know people in the industry who used to know you, and PJ's a G. That's all people need to know. Thank you, Sparky. All right, guys, 50 minutes in. I decided to not wear the girdle. And it's starting to hurt right now. PJ, what's your all-time favorite muscle car? So, of all the cars that I've driven, I was not ever a fan of American Muscle. I know, that's terrible. However, I really enjoyed the look of the Ford GT. Never drove one. My mechanic who works on all these cars told me that I wouldn't like it. So once I drove the F12, it kind of ruined me for most other cars. But my Corvette, my Z06 Corvette, I loved that car. The C7 Z06 was really an incredible car. I liked that Hellcat that we had the least, I would say. So, you know, I've driven older muscle cars, guys, and here's the thing. Unless you do a lot to it, and I'm talking a lot, they suck compared to the new technology. They suck compared to the new technology. Like, do you guys remember when we gave away the Corvette? We gave away that Corvette, I think it was 78 maybe? 76, 78? It was beautiful. And it was cool. But if you drove my Z06 and then drove that, you'd be like, what is this snail? The F12 is a big car, Pierce Brosnan. It's a touring car. It's got a lot of space. You know, the 458 was pretty comfortable too, but the F12 is a big car. Big car. Nathan I says, YouTube is hiding from me. Didn't notify me. My ass and flashing started. Interesting. I don't know. I guess I got to look into that a little bit more. We'll find out. Thank you for telling me. I appreciate you guys telling me. Man, I'm happy to be back, Al. I'm happy to be back. Thank you for saying that. Listen, I'm excited for the fight tonight, guys. I'm rooting for Tyson. Love Tyson. I recommend you guys watching that little docu-series on Netflix. They did a good job with it. It'll get you fired out. Shout out to my boy Andy Velich, who's actually in one of the videos training Tyson with the newbie. Cool stuff. And I think it's going to be exciting. But all right, I'm going to roll up off here now. My legs had enough, I think, for today. I appreciate you guys all very much. Thank you for joining in. I'm sorry if you're not getting notifications. I'm out of here on the weekends. I'll be back Monday. Try every day, guys. So just count on me being here. Please sponsor Jay. No, I can't sponsor anybody. I'm not allowed to be involved in the supplement industry for 3 years. So that's that. God bless you guys all very much. Appreciate you. Peace out. Have a good day.